Porter Williams.
Tolofalava, Mr Speaker. Thank you, Mr Speaker. I have a couple of issues I'd like to address about this particular bill. I think my underlying theme is going to be actually that the government needs to get a dose of reality. They need to do a reality check when they're developing legislation, because we're supporting this legislation to second reading, but we have some grave reservations. And the first reservation we have is about the effectiveness of this youth service. Mrs Palmer talked about the analysis that had been done, and that, you know, it's proving to be a really good service. Well, we'd like to see that analysis, thank you very much. We'd actually like to see the evidence, rather than putting some more resource into a service that we have no idea whether it is effective. Here's a dose of reality, Mr Ducey. There are more young people who are not in education, who are not in work and not in training. How is this bill going to address that? How are we going to address the reality for our young people when we can't get the figures out of the government? Give us the evidence, please. Give us the evidence. It is a mirage. The intention of this is actually to reduce welfare dependency. That's what it says in the purpose of the bill. Actually, it's not. The intention of this is actually to get people off the government's books in terms of benefits, but it is not about getting them into work, Mr Speaker. It's not about the focus into work, because we have no idea whether this service is effective in the first place at putting those wraparound services around young people. Is it increasing their educational standards? Is it increasing their ability to attain work? Is it increasing their ability to parent well? Well, show us the figures. Show us the figures before you can make commitments like this. Where is this evidence, Mr Speaker? Where is the evidence? Because there's no doubt that young people in this situation actually need the support to increase their ability to not only get work, but actually to find work that actually is going to pay them a decent wage so that they can then live a fulfilling life and take care of the needs of their children. And there is a focus on getting people into work, but not just any job, and not jobs that actually cost them to go to. What does it cost a young person to put their child into childcare, to access transport? What does it cost for them to do that? Has this been factored in to supporting these young people to get what they need to get off benefits and into jobs? And now tell me one thing, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs for these young people? And where is the government's evidence that when people come off benefits, they are actually going into work? Where are they going? Show me where they are going, because I do not see any evidence that people coming off benefits are actually going into work and actually they're making it. Where is it? Where is the evidence? I've had a little pipe up there from the Minister. Show me where it is, where you can track people off benefits into work, because I do not see any evidence of that, Mr Speaker. And I want to refer to something that's been canvassed in this House, which is about the effect of sanctions on people. How is it that you can actually cut somebody's benefit when they can't turn up for an appointment at Work and Income? Each and every one of us electorate MPs have had queries from people who have said to us, we couldn't make it because we've had to pay our power bill, we didn't have enough money to hop on the bus to go our Work and Income appointment, they've cut our benefit in half. And we're talking about people with children. Half. How is that a responsible government approach? How is that a responsible government? They're laughing. They're laughing. Let me quote from one of the submitters, shall I, about sanctioning young people, which is actually abhorrent. Now, this is abhorrent. Okay, the sanctions in place currently resemble a three-strike policy approach to welfare distribution. The first time an obligation is not met, 50% of the welfare recipient's benefit will be cut. The second time, their benefit is suspended, and the third time means a full cancellation of their benefit. Excuse me? Excuse me? Because we want some changes made here. This government is scared of the P word. The P word is poverty. And yet with this bill, they are throwing young people on the scrap heap and right into the face of poverty. And then the relationship that young people are supposed to have with the person at work and income is supposed to be mutually equal, and they're supposed to have rights and obligations. And then what do they get faced with? The possibility of having their benefit cancelled. How is that an equal relationship? When I worked in family violence, we talk about the power, the cycle of violence and the power wheel. And it's completely an abusive relationship. There's a huge power imbalance between a young person who finds it difficult to operate in the world anyway, having to negotiate and cajole and work with people at work and income. It is absolutely, absolutely abhorrent. And then let's look at the predictive risk model, shall we? How much evidence has been put into this predictive risk model? I recall on the Select Committee hearing what was going to go into the predictive risk model. And let's see, what are they? What are the factors that they're going to use to determine whether they are from a family that's had previous welfare issues, their race, their age. The predictive risk model is about what? It's about determining what we already know. Investment. It's about determining what we already know. And actually we need to find different solutions. And certainly not cutting benefits is certainly not a solution that I would be recommending. And I really tautoko what the Green Party has been saying in their minority report. Because, what do they say? Okay, the modelling is about considering educational outcomes, prior contact with child, youth and family, gender and reasons for leaving school. Now that's supposed to be the predictive risk model to determine someone's long-term dependency on welfare. Where is the aspiration in this? Where is the aspiration for these young people? Where is the support for these young people to actually get off welfare and into decent paying jobs? Okay, tell me where the jobs are. Tell me how these young people are going to transition into work, because you cannot even, excuse me, Mr. Speaker, the government cannot tell us how they're tracking where these young people are going. We have no idea where these young people are going. They certainly are not going into work because the rates for young people not in education, not in training and not in work are going up. So you cannot tell me that they are actually getting into work. The last point I want to make is about the right of appeal. The right of appeal, we should always have the ability to appeal and review a decision, Mr. Speaker, whether that is as a beneficiary or as any other person in our society. And we slide down a slippery slope when we start taking those rights away from people, and especially people in a position of diminished power, such as a beneficiary. For me, Mr. Speaker, this is one of the most significant aspects of the bill that we should really give full consideration to at the committee stage. Everyone should have the right to appeal a decision that impacts their ability to actually live a decent life, and in this case, the ability to actually have any income. Mr. Speaker, there will be some vigorous debates in committee stages on this bill, I have no doubt, but thank you very much for my contribution.